nothing positive to everything. I think I'm positive everything. But I'm saying, come on, Tony. What I do to you, Tony?
He has been so likable. He's been out in the community. He seems to be a guy putting in all the work from everything we've heard. What were you hearing character-wise?
Right. Now, watch this. Watch how they never, ever get specific. He asked him specifically what character, what happened. Specifics means who, what, when, where. Give me the specifics of what was said, where it was said, why. Like, give us the specifics.
It's nothing to do with off the field. We're not talking about getting in any trouble. We're talking about was he totally committed to being a great quarterback?
What if I told you that one of the most talented quarterbacks in this entire NFL draft class was almost buried before he ever got a chance to play a single snap? Not because of what he did on the field, not because of his arm, not because of his football IQ, but because of a whisper campaign, a coordinated, calculated, behind-the-scenes effort to destroy a young man's reputation, using nothing but vague words, unnamed sources, and zero proof. And the scariest part? It almost worked. This is the story of Shedeur Sanders, a fifth-round pick who, by almost every scouting metric, should have been gone in the first 3 rounds. A quarterback whose tape was so clean, so sharp, that even the scouts who heard the rumors couldn't deny what they saw on film. So what happened? Why did he fall? And who is really behind this? Stay with me, because what we're about to uncover is bigger than football.
I strongly believe, had there not been concerns with his character, he would not have gotten out of 3rd round. He's a drop.
Now, what are the concerns with the character? Has Shedeur Sanders ever been arrested? No. Has Shedeur Sanders ever been in some dispute with a female all over the internet? No. What has he done? What's the character thing? What is it? What is it? Is it because he likes to wear a chain? Y'all don't say nothing about Jackson Dart wearing his jewelry. Y'all say he's got spunk. He's got that swagger.
Let's go back to before the draft. Shedeur Sanders was one of the most talked about quarterbacks entering the NFL. His college tape was elite. His decision-making, his pocket presence, his ability to go through progressions, all of it, top tier. Scouts were calling him a potential first-round pick. Some had him as high as a top 15 guy. The buzz was real. The talent was undeniable. Then something shifted. Slowly, quietly, the narrative started to change. Whispers began circulating among NFL circles. Character concerns, commitment issues. Is he really serious about football? The same vague phrases repeated over and over by different voices, but somehow nobody could ever explain what they actually meant. No arrest, no incident report, no documented altercation, no confrontation with a coach, nothing on paper, nothing specific, just rumors, feelings, sources say. And the league listened. Teams started backing away. Grades dropped. A player who should have been a 1st or 2nd round pick fell and kept falling, all the way to the 5th round. Think about that for a second. The 5th round for a quarterback whose film grade was described as pretty good by one of the most respected film evaluators in the business. A guy who doesn't care about rumors, doesn't care about the noise, only goes by what he sees on tape. How does that happen? How does a talent like Shedeur Sanders fall 60, 70, 80 spots below where he should have gone? Because somebody was talking, and what they were saying had nothing to do with football. Now fast forward to 2026. Shedeur is on the Cleveland Browns roster. He's out in the community. He's putting in the work. The coaches are happy with his progress. The people around him every single day, the ones who actually watch him work, they're saying good things, real things, specific things. But the media, some of them can't let it go.
Specifically, what character, what happened? Specifics means who, what, when, where. Give me the specifics of what was said, where it was said, why. Like, give us the specifics.
It's nothing to do with off the field. We're not talking about getting in any trouble. We're talking about was he totally committed to being a great quarterback? You watch the tape.
Bro? What about his character made you question it? Did he say something? Did he do something? What did he say? What did he do? Who did he say it to? Who did he do it to? They never get specific, man. They just lying. They're lying.
There's an NFL insider who gets on the air and starts up the same old song. Same vague language. Same unnamed sources. Character. Commitment. Is he really dedicated to being great? No names. No dates, no specific incidents, no moments, no quotes, no examples, just a cloud of doubt hanging over a young man's name. And that's when people started paying attention, because here's what's interesting. Every single time someone has tried to get specific about Shedeur Sanders, they get exposed. Remember when a well-known analyst claimed Shedeur was sitting in the back of team meetings, not engaged, not locked in? Video evidence surfaced almost immediately, showing him front and center, locked in, eyes forward. The lie got debunked in real time. And here's the pattern. Every time a critic tries to go specific, the story falls apart. Every time someone tries to attach a real detail to the narrative, it collapses under its own weight. So what do they do instead? They stay vague. They say character without explaining what character means. They say commitment without pointing to a single practice, a single day, a single conversation where Shedeur showed he didn't care. They use language that sounds damning, but means absolutely nothing. Is he committed to being great? What does that mean? What player in the NFL is not committed to being great? Who specifically told you this? When did this happen? Where? What did he say? What did he do? Silence. Because they don't have an answer. They never had an answer. Here's what makes this story even more painful. One of the people speaking about Shedeur openly admitted on air, after dancing around the character narrative for several minutes, that the film was actually good, that the tape spoke for itself, that even he hoped Shedeur would become the starter in Cleveland and succeed, because Browns fans have suffered long enough. So let me ask you something. If the film is good, and there's no off-field trouble, and the coaches are happy with his progress, and the community loves him, and the work ethic checks out, then what exactly is the problem? What are we actually talking about here? Is it the chain he wears? Because nobody talks about white quarterbacks who wear jewelry. They call it personality. They call it swagger. They say it adds to his brand. But when Shedeur Sanders wears the same chain, suddenly it's a red flag. That double standard is glaring, and people see it.
I had heard some stuff about Shedeur before the draft, just about, you know, how serious is he about being great? And the league kind of told you what they thought. He dropped to the 5th round. But Greg told me that the tape was pretty good. Greg only goes by what he sees. He's not into, you know, the chatter, the rumors, and that stuff. I just remember him. He and I exchanged notes, you know, after the draft.
Is it his father? Is it the spotlight that came with being Deion Sanders' son? Because that spotlight didn't help him in the draft. It actually seemed to hurt him, like the league wanted to make an example, like they wanted to prove a point. Whatever the reason, the result was the same. A young man with elite talent was pushed down, talked about behind closed doors, labeled with words that could never be proven, and sent into the NFL carrying the weight of a reputation that was built on nothing. But here's the turning point. Here's where the story changes. Shedeur didn't break. He didn't go on a long rant. He didn't call out names publicly. He didn't let the bitterness swallow him. Instead, he posted something quiet, something real. Learn to value the opinions of those who care about you, not the noise from everyone else. 11 words, that's it. No drama, no spectacle. But the internet exploded because everyone who had been watching this unfold, every fan, every supporter, every person who saw through the vague attacks and the nameless accusations, they understood exactly what that message meant. He heard them, he saw them, and he chose to rise above it anyway. That's not just football character, that's human character, the kind that can't be faked, the kind that no unnamed source can take away. Now Shedeur Sanders is in Cleveland. He has a real chance, a front office that drafted him and wants to see him succeed, a fan base that has been through decades of heartbreak and is desperate, absolutely desperate, for something to believe in. And on the other side, The same voices, the same cycle. New station, same script. Character, commitment, sources say. But here's what's different now. People aren't just nodding along anymore. They're asking the follow-up question. They're demanding specifics. They're calling it out in real time. Because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. Once you notice that the accusations are always vague, always unnamed, always impossible to verify, you start to understand that the goal was never really about football evaluation. The goal was narrative control. And Shedeur Sanders refuses to let anyone else control his narrative. So where does this end? That part, honestly, is still being written. Shedeur hasn't taken a single snap in a regular season NFL game yet. The real verdict, the one that matters, will come on the field, under the lights, in front of 70,000 people, in those moments when everything is on the line and there's nowhere to hide. But if everything we've seen so far is any indication, the people who tried to bury him before he even started might want to start preparing their apology, because Shedeur Sanders is still here, still working, still rising, and the loudest statement he could ever make won't come from a tweet. It'll come from the scoreboard.